Well, welcome to chapter 9 of our Energy Bus journey. I've got my coffee, I've got my book, and you might notice I am a little bit under the weather, but you just have to put up with that for a couple of days because the show must go on. We are moving through this book. Now, today we find that George is sharing his vision with Joy. And I love how just talking about the vision fuels him with passion. It inspires him to take action. And that's what vision does, is it gives us purpose and it drives us to make the necessary changes. But not if we only keep it to ourselves. When we do that, we give that vision a chance to fade over time, to leak. So let me encourage you, if you took the time in chapter 7 to write out your answers to those vision questions, I want you to share them with somebody else. Because a vision locked inside will never inspire change. We got to let it out. We got to tell someone. We got to bring it to life. And like George, when you speak your vision out loud, I think your commitment will create momentum. And Joy loved every minute of hearing George's vision here. Why? Because she saw something in George that George didn't even see in himself from the very beginning when she first met him. And that's something we all need. We need somebody who sees more in us than we see in ourselves. Now, there were 3 things that stood out to me in this chapter, and I want to share them with you. Here's the first one, that vision is inspiring, but change does take time. Change does take time. Even though George is inspired by his vision, he admits that he doesn't feel like he's living that way right now. And that's okay. You may feel that way too, but remember that this is just a starting point. Once you have a vision, you got to stay the course. You got to trust the process. All good things take time. Now, my second takeaway was the power of a 1 to 10 check-in. Joy doesn't just ask George about his vision. She follows up. She says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how ready would you say that you are for this product launch? Because once we've identified what we want, where we want to go, we got to assess with where we are right now. We got to stop and take a moment and look at what is our current state. That's why this is such a powerful question. I love using 1 to 10 questions like this because they bring clarity and then they can potentially help us identify the next immediate step we need to take as we think through it. Now, my third takeaway is our challenges often reveal our opportunities. Joy shares another key lesson with George. She says, sometimes we have to see what we don't want to know what we do want. That's a hard truth that many of us don't take action until we hit a crisis. But here's another truth, which is actually credited to Napoleon Hill. He says that every adversity carries with it a seed of greater or equivalent benefit. That means that every challenge that we go through has a lesson inside of it if we're willing to see that lesson. And at the end of the chapter, Joy puts it this way: every crisis offers an opportunity to grow stronger and wiser. So here's my reflection question for you today. What lesson did you learn from your last challenge? Think about it. What difficult season have you gone through? And how do you view life differently on the other side of that season? So often we find growth comes inside of a struggle. So instead of resenting the challenge, we should make the commitment to learn from every adversity we go through. Well, tomorrow we're going to look at rule number 2. I'll see you then.